AI is going to take developer jobs. This is something we have heard plenty of times.
Okay.
And I did not bother even worrying about it so far because I'm a senior developer and I've been coding for almost 11 years now. But look at this particular tool called Bolt.new. It's from the StackBlitz team, and I've been a huge fan of StackBlitz team over the years because of their web containers and their solution for just online editors for Angular, Vue, React, etc. And to be honest, as a developer, I've been frequently using Claude, ChatGPT, Google Gemini for the things that I already know how to do, but I want something to quickly, work for me and create solutions for me. I've used them, but this tool takes the cake. So what's crazy about Bolt.new? Let's find out.
Okay, so now that I have my whole prompt ready, I'm just going to show you how it looks when it tries to create this particular UI. And I'm going to also copy this so I don't really miss this. And as soon as I hit this, this is going to start processing it. And it's a lot of text. It's a lot of requirement as well. But you can see that this is using React app, vite, tailwind CSS, and daisyui, all of those. And it also starts to install those packages as well. So let's see. JSON, and it's currently creating all these pages. So look at employee page. It's now creating the calendar page for me, creating some dummy events as I asked it to do. And then now it's creating the manager dashboard. So I asked a couple of things: the employee page, availability page where the employee can edit those things, a calendar page where employee can see all the events that the employees as a sort of invited to, the manager's dashboard where the manager can see the employees list and also the events list that the manager has created, and then the create event page for the manager where the manager can create an event. So it's using basic state in a lot of places, which makes sense. I don't really think it needs a lot of state management libraries at this point. Probably would be required when things get complex, but we'll see. But you can still see that this is quite clean code, so to say. It's using react.fc. I like to use react.fc or just functional component as a type everywhere, essentially, whenever I create a React component, and I'm using TypeScript, of course. So this is actually doing what I like to code. So we'll see until I find something that I don't really like. Now it's also creating pages for chat with AI, and I asked it to create two of those. One if this was for a manager, and the other one was if it was for an employee to chat with the AI and ask relevant things. For example, the employee could say, give me my schedule or update one of the dates when I'm not available, but then also for the manager as well. So here we have the implementation ready, and it's also installing all the packages right now, as you can see here. And now you'll also see that once this has installed everything, it's gonna start implementing and building it, and we should be able to see the preview in just about now. Ooh, there is some issue. Is it because I did something, or is it because of what it did? So it says closing tag for label. Let's see if we can find that. Yeah, so here it seems like it missed this particular label. So let's quickly close this just like this. We should be good. And there we go. You can see that we have an app that actually seems okay. We have the user's information, the weekly availability. So all the times are written here. We also have icons here as well. Then let's go to the availability page. And this is the availability page. So here I asked it to also be able to enable and disable the inputs if the checkbox is not checked. So if I uncheck it, boom, it goes. So it's actually creating what I liked, what I wanted to do. And I also asked that multiple or a single day can have multiple fields or slots as well. So if I open this, you can see I can add more, I can remove more. This is gonna save me so much time. And then we have Monday, Tuesday, a lot of those. We should also have overrides as well. I asked it that if I have some schedule which is weekly, but if I want to particularly on certain dates say no, please mark me as unavailable that day, it allows me to do so. So if I select the date, let's say I say 23rd, then it's asking me to create overrides for that. This is super cool. I can just say this. I did ask it also to say that I could mark a particular date as unavailable. So this is not a perfect solution right now, but we'll also see if the AI can fix that. This is super nice. So this is actually 90% of what I want, and I'm going to be using a lot of this code. Then we have calendars. So we do have the calendar implementation right here. I want to see which kind of calendar package is it using. So if I go to package.json, we are using React Big Calendar is the one. We also are using React Date Picker, React Router DOM. Good. is there anything that we also have that's not fixed? So we have edit event tsx label. I think we fixed it and it should be fine, but I also want to try to see if I can run this again. Maybe just run npm run dev. Okay, so no errors now. It's good. So we talked about availability. Let's talk about the calendar. So here we have a month, week, day, agenda, a lot of cool things here that could be worked upon. We have next, back, today. I think this is pretty nice. A lot of code that's here. I will be using that. Then we have the manager dashboard. We talked about having a list or looking at the employees and also events, and if there is any event, I explicitly ask it to say that it needs attention, so sort of having some sort of notification there. This is brilliant. I can also create a new event from here, so it takes me to the create event page, I assume. So it takes me to create event. I have the title here. I can give this a title, a particular date, a start time, end time. This is so good. I love it. And then I can select the attendees from the list of attendees. Ooh, I like the animation there. Ooh. And then I can say create event, and here it says embedded page says event created successfully. So an alert there. That's good. Now let's go with chat with AI. One of the things I did notice in the code as well was there was a sort of smooth scroll that was implemented there, and I think that was running on even a start as well. So scroll to bottom, use effect. Whenever the messages change, it scrolls to bottom. Behavior is smooth, nice. So if I start with saying, for example, when can we have our next after work? That's a question every employee asks the managers in their mind every day, I think. So let's send this, and then you can see there is also a response coming back. So this is a chat UI which is there as well. And if I try to say something like this and hit enter, you can see it scrolls down as well. This is overall really nice, but I want to change something. I want to say, no, I don't want all of these header in the top. Maybe what I'll do here is I'll say something like change the header to not have all the links visible, create a hamburger menu instead. And then I'll also say that add a title or add a logo that says the name of the application. So I've added that, add a title in the header name scheduling app. So let's see if this changes it. And there we go. You can see that it's already starting to change the app.tsx. So if I go to code, does it also start changing it right away? And I should be able to see that as well. So here you can see that we do have all these routes being created as well. That has changed now. And let's see what the changes are now. Oh, look at this. So here we have all our links right here. Employee availability, calendar manager dashboard. This is super cool, right? And I didn't have to do too much at all. A lot of things just changed dramatically. Now this was okay. I want to take this to the next level. I want to make it so that when we have this particular view right here, create new event, I want the select attendees to not be just a list of people that I can take, maybe having an autocomplete with multi-select. I think that's a complex thing to ask it. So now I'm also giving this a prompt that says, change the create new event page to have the autocomplete instead of the multiple checkboxes. So I don't want these ones. And for the select attendees feature, we should be able to search, filter, and select multiple attendees for the event and also remove them, of course. And finally, for a twist, I also added that it should show a toast, which is pretty normal in web applications. And this is also something really complex. So this AI Bolt.new would actually install a new package and then implement the toast feature for us. Let's have a look. So I'm going to let it cook. And there you go. You can see that it already decided that it can use React Select for the autocomplete and React Hot Toast for the toast notification. What can I say now? And now it's going and updating all the components. I think one of the things that it could do is it could switch from preview to code when it starts updating things. I'm not really sure if they consciously made the decision to not do that, but I think that would be more user friendly or developer friendly in that case. Let's have a look. Did this compile correctly? Yes, it did. Okay, there we go. So we got the scheduling app right here. I can go to manager dashboard, create a new event, and here you can see select attendees. And here we have John, Jane, Alice. If I say Alice, I can select Alice, and it's a multi-select. Come on, what is going on? And there we go. We can select multiple of those. We can clear all of them. Super nice. And let's select this. I also want to ensure that when I create an event, does it create it without any validation. And if I do so, you can see that there is some validation here. So let's say next after work. If I do this and create it, now this is required, so I can select the date. And if I create this, now it's gonna ask me about time. So let's select this as well. Let's select this as well. And now I can create it. And you can see the toast right here, event created successfully, right? This is super nice. I really, really like it. Now I want to go one step forward. Now, one of the things that I really want to change here is in this availability one, if you go to the code, it's using a bunch of use state here within React. And even though it has like all these days and rendering all of those, it's not really a form, so to say. So it can't really have a lot of validations. For example, I could have the time starting at 12, but I could have the end time, for example, at 1. And would it allow me to do so? For example, if I do this, then it doesn't really make sense, right? So what I want to have here is usage of React form hooks for validation as well. And that's something that I also was struggling when I was working on the hackathon itself. So I want to use React form hooks, and I also want to have validation in the form as well. And I also want it to generate the final sort of data or form data for me when the user submits it, so I can send it to the backend. So let's try to create the prompt for it here. All right, so I have my prompt ready and I'm asking it to update the availability page to use React Form Hooks package to have flexible forms using field arrays and validation. For example, none of the end times should come before the start time, right? And vice versa as well. And if a row is enabled, it has to have both of the inputs. Otherwise, the form will be not valid or will not be submitted. So that's also one of the things. I also want the start date and end date to be 9 to 5 by default, because usually those are the working hours. But if the user adds another row, for example, like this, then it should start with any slot that is available. For example, if this is from 12 to 1, then this should start from 1 to 2, right? So that's a bit complex as well. And then finally, the data of the form at the end, when I submit it, should be of this particular format. So I want an array of work schedule, and each day would be mentioned here. For example, Monday, and then we should have availability, start time, end time, and blah, blah, blah. So all of that. Now let's see what this does when we ask this particular question or this change. Okay, so now first of all, it's installing the React hook form. Really nice. And now it also created the interfaces for us as well. For example, time slot, day availability, and I think this is exactly what I wanted. Cool, nice. And then we have days of the week as well. Pretty nice. I want to see if it uses the field arrays. So it does use the use form with the form data. That's super cool. And then it creates at least one availability, which I actually wanted. Pretty nice. And while this is running in the preview, I also want to see if it uses field array. Oh my God. I spent so much time on this one actually to make things work. And it already knows how to do that. Cool. Work schedule is being washed as well. A lot of code that's happening here. I want to actually try this out. So I'm going to go to my availability page, and here we have it, right? So if I inspect it and try to see the availability, let's quickly do that. And I'm hoping it console logs it at least. So here we have work schedule. Then we have Sunday, enable true, availability array 1. So all of them are enabled, right? I want to now disable some of them. For example, Sunday is not available, Wednesday is not there, and Saturday is not there. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So let's submit this now. So look at this. So we have enabled false, and we also can filter this out as well. We can also ask the AI to do this, but it seems okay. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. These are the enabled ones. And now let's also check this requirement when I said that if I'm going from 9 to 5, then the next slot should be 6. So if I click this, okay, nothing happens here. So clearly something has gone wrong. Okay, so I'm not able to create any more slots per day. At least that's what's wrong. Is it because there's no value that's assigned to this? For example, if I assign like this, then if I click this, no, that's not the case. Anyways, this is good, which means that this can make mistakes, and then I would have to somehow, make a remedy of those, or ask it that it doesn't really work. What should I do? So let's see. Okay, so I've put a really simple prompt here that I'm not able to create any more slots of availability per day, and nothing happens when I click the plus button. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it did find that the issue is that the add time slot function is not properly updating the form state. Let's fix this by using the use field array hook for managing the availability slot for each day. This is actually what I did when I was implementing this. So I had the whole form in one component, and then I had a nested component in which I was handling each particular row. Okay, let's see if this actually works. So I can go here, go to create event, no, go to availability, and here let's try this. Okay, so this works now. So I can keep clicking the plus one, and you can see it also finds the new or the next item as well. Super nice, right? And then this one as well. What happens if I change something? For example, let's say I change this one, or when I remove something, what happens? It removes the current one. It keeps the last one always, right? And it removes the previous ones like this. I don't really like that because it feels like it's a really bad use case. And you can see that if I add something, I want to remove the, or if I click plus, my plus is on a different element now every time. So I don't really want that. So let's also change this. And this is the last thing that we're going to do. So I have my prompt ready here. I'm saying when we add a slot, the plus button moves to the last slot at the moment. So at the moment, it should always stick with the first slot of the day. And if we add a new slot, the minus button should appear on all slots for the day except for the first one. Let's try this out. You're right, and I apologize for the oversight. So many apologizations. And now if I go to my availability here, I can click plus, and you can see that it keeps appearing on the other one.
Well, with that said, here are my thoughts about this tool and if it's going to take developer jobs. In essence, it looks really promising and it did solve a lot of complex queries or changes that I wanted it to do pretty efficiently, as you saw. But I still don't think this can replace developer jobs yet. As you did see me finding a particular bug in the code that it generated and manually going into the code and fixing it. And you also saw me giving it more clear instructions on how to make the user experience a bit better and how to also identify things not working in certain cases as well, where it was not able to create more rows for the availability. So I think we still need some sort of expert to actually work with this AI if we really want good results or good applications created out of this tool. But for now, I think I'm still going to use this tool to save my time for the things I already know how to build and I want to do it fast. But let me know, what are your thoughts about this particular tool in the comments. Do you think it's going to replace developer jobs? Yes or no?